Dear listeners, welcome back to another episode of Inside Out with Dr. Jen. I'm your host, Jennifer. Here, we turn insights into action, one story at a time. In the last episode, 13, we explored Patricia's podcasting journey, her launching motivation, the key themes she will cover, and how personal growth shaped her life, why it is so important. Today, we continue to uncover Patricia's leadership story and philosophy, how she overcomes challenges, and her advice for anyone looking to grow. We will also dive into podcasting itself. Patricia has some great questions about how I got started, the lessons I've learned, and essential tools for launching successfully with free resources. Whether you are thinking about starting your own podcast or just curious about the behind-the-scene operation, this episode is packed with insights you won't want to miss. Let's jump in. Patricia, we can see you have lots of immersive experience with the leaders and the mentors to keep yourself grow, and we can see a great heart in you. So how do you put that into your daily life? How this shape your leadership style? For example, look back into myself. I found I do leadership by put the words into action. I lead by example. If I ask my people to do something, I got to do it myself. So I won't ask people or challenge people with things that I think I won't be able to do it. So in that sense, everybody develop their leadership style based on their own experience and unique peoples around them. So if you reflect, how do you see your own leadership style?
I think it goes beyond the work. For me, it starts on my day at home, how I show up to others around me. And that's why it's so important for me to be grounded, to be connected, to be in peace, to be in a state of mind and heart that is positive. So I believe we all share this energy around us. So if you show up in a good presence with good energy, positive, inspiring, excited, people around you will feel and will come along the journey. Starting the day engaging with my kids and my husband at home, preparing the lunch boxes and everything else, and a good mood changes their day as well. We sing along, going to the school, everything helps, right? So we start with the mood, the energy that we bring to the world and how that has ripple effects. Into more practical terms, in terms of leadership, walking the talk as you do, I like to live by and demonstrate, but also exercise what I want to see in others every day. Try to be curious. I develop people. That's how I am. I always try to, like my previous boss, the one that did the feedback, I try to challenge them. I give them opportunities for them to contribute. I try to do more of a coaching approach, asking questions, open questions, rather than always saying and telling. This is day to day at work, and I give the space for them to be themselves. Try to identify always what are their key strengths, and we leverage on that. And then we work a little bit on what are the gaps for their roles and what they need to fulfill and how to get there. We agree together how we'll get there to fulfill those gaps. So it's pretty much understanding, getting to know people, who they are as whole beings, not just as the professionals, understanding the roles, the intentions, the vision that we have, unpacking that into the day to day, but really supporting people to become who they want to become. And if it's not for them, because there's a lot of people that sometimes are in the role that it's not the role that they really want to be, or it's not in alignment of whom they are. In some cases, I help them to transition. I just arrived in an organization now that really needed some restructure. There are both the individual, but also the customers around him who was served by him. None of them were happy by transitioning this person that was not to engage with customer service directly to another role that he was more methodical and attention to detail was really high, and he became a bit of a tester who needs to be very precise instead of engaging with people. Gave him satisfaction, gave the company a lot of, how can I say, accuracy of what we needed from that other role, and gave the customers that he had a bit of a confidence that they could approach anybody and not have that confrontation, in the customer service. So the person wasn't a good fit for customer service, but was a really good fit for other roles. So identifying their strengths, talking to people and trying to show the mirror to them where are the strengths, what are not, and how we could transition to a better place. That is something that I do a lot. And that's how I live in my leadership, in supporting them to become who they want to become. And same is translated to the coaching and mentoring. We work a lot of, if it is a coaching, which is more structured, what is that we want to achieve in short, long term. Mentoring is more sharing the experiences as well in guiding them through what they want to achieve, but with a little bit more support than coaching.
Yeah, I think coaching skill is actually quite important as a leader because then we do not do the business directly. You actually empower people to finish a task more efficiently and happily. And I think your people must be very happy working under you. You have this mentality that everyone is suitable for something, maybe not this role, but another role. You do not criticize them. You're actually trying to match them to the work that they are most suitable for. But for a leader, if you do this one by one, it's quite tiring most of the time. So how can you find energy for all of this?
Good question, but it's not needed to do all the time. My team today is about 42 people, and I did that once. And then I created the structure in which I have my direct report and knowing the people that report to them. So we have different layers. That's what I want to say. And you don't need to engage with all the layers all the time. But I got to know those just as I arrived. It's so important that you get to know the people that you are working with in all layers when you arrive. After that, it's more maintenance and it's guiding those that are directly reporting to you to see things that way, to validate what you've seen, to exchange, because I don't know all the truth. I observe and I talk to people, and then I talk to the people that they report directly. So from these 42, not all of them were reporting directly to me. This case, an example that I mentioned to you, the person wasn't reporting to me, but I listened to the customers and I spoke with him. And this person was saying a few things and showing me the evidence that he was trying to work hard, but is still not cutting it. And then I spoke with the customers and I received feedback. And then I spoke with his manager and I said, okay, can you see what I see? Can we agree that this is not the ideal position? And then I spoke with the individual and the organization. Say, okay, what are the other opportunities that we have? This is not an ideal place for you, but there are other places that maybe you can fit in. Would you consider? And then the person said, well, I've done this at university and it's something that I really enjoy. And I said, great, how about you try? And then it's working with the person. In this case, I had to create a secondment because we wanted to ensure that it's a trial for the person and then he could come back to his original job. So you help people to transition that way as well. But it was all agreed with my direct report with the manager who was then taking actions. It's not me doing the job all the time. You want sometimes to disconnect then to a different level and let the other leaders to do their role. And that's the beauty of creating a good team. You delegate And then you can do other things, right? And you support, you delegate to support. And occasionally I still talk to all 42, but not all at once. So in a year, you would meet occasionally, you were there, you would exchange ideas. Sometimes your first impressions change because it could be at a point in time the person wasn't in the best mood, wasn't in the best performance, or wasn't delivering for specific reasons. Things change. So what I do, I create leaders, Jen. I give them the opportunity to lead as well, and I give a model for them to operate. That's how.
That's excellent. I do appreciate what you are saying, that coaching is a very important leadership skill set. You have to develop people. I realize whatever the business is, at the end, it not matter too much. It's about the people development.
One of the things that I was very proud the other day that I've seen in school was attending to the induction for my son's secondary school. They were talking about the partnership that they have with Melbourne University now, that is all about developing skills for the future, which is preparing the students for something that we don't know how it's going to be, or a profession that maybe not even exists yet. And it was all around preparing them to learn, preparing them with skills that are transferable to any, curiosity, exploration, research, all those things that we do without thinking, without really a diploma. Because a lot of the things that I learned, of course, cannot use anymore. We're the foundation, and you can connect the dots, but they are not all transferable to for example, the programming language that I used at the university doesn't exist anymore. Evolved so much. So you always need to learn new things. And that's the principle for new generations as well. But what I love most, to be honest, is not, we know that our kids will catch up. We know that younger generation they are super advanced these days. What I love most is when I see older people, older meaning 65 plus, with an open mind, that growth mindset existing there, and learning and still developing and catching up on technology and trying to do their best and using the tools that are available and not thinking that they know it all. And I know I will be one of them, in a sense that I don't know it all, and I will always try to explore something different, something new. I love that. I love when people are still searching and still learning.
Absolutely. That's why you come the podcast idea and you are doing it.
Yes.
So one more question. You are talking about lots of positive, energetic, happy feelings. Do you ever have a down moment, and how do you drag yourself out of that darkness?
Not that often anymore, because I've worked a lot on my personal development. I've done a lot of a reflection of what was causing from time to time those limiting beliefs or things that people told me once. That were the things that would come to my mind when I was down. And I noticed that none of those things, or I think a lot, if not all, came from me. I know that I am unlimited, and that's what I like to think and consider. And that my mom gave me something. She always says things positive as well, but she said to me once, if the human being can do it, so can you. We all can. If somebody has done it, you can. If he hasn't done it, you can be the first. So that's what I take. I don't take the setbacks as, oh my gosh, for me, this is a problem. Look what is happening now. I just keep moving. There is this Atomic Habits book that says that you cannot think too much, change little things every day, and it'll become bigger thing long term. And, stand up without thinking too much. That's how I go to the gym now. I don't love the gym, but I wake up and I just don't think and I go. I push myself, I guess. It's not something that I don't like to linger on the bad. I try to take the learnings and move on. Take the learnings and move on. And the good thing for me as well is to be in communities that are supportive, to have those around you that want to love you, that wants you to feel as well good and talk to people, right? When I'm not in my best mood, either I do a meditation or I talk to people, and I hear beautiful stories from others, and to be grateful, because yes, you can always see the half glass empty, but I always prefer to see the half glass full, and that's how I live my life. It's a choice, I guess. Every day, even when things are not well, you have a choice, and I always choose to see the opportunity. That's how I go.
Excellent. I'm sure you will guide your audience, your listeners in your podcast to see the beauty part and not lingering around somewhere they should not stay, right?
Yeah.
That's excellent. For the final session, we come into my signature session of Insights Out, because this is a chance that we go beyond the roles, the social positions, the titles, to really uncover the key experience, lessons, and the values that define us, who we are, what made us happy. So, if I ask you to talk to your 20 years old self, just started life, excited, but not sure what's waiting for you, what will be one advice you'll give to your younger?
Keep going. Keep going. Be curious. There is beauty. You see the beauty everywhere. You can do it. There is no limit for what you can achieve. Life is as beautiful as you make it.
Excellent. It is no limit. And throughout your journey, you have discovered quite a lot of values as we discussed. So, what is the most important values you hold and you live by in day to day life? Would you give us advice on that?
Yes, yes, for sure. My three key values are connection, growth, and love. And that's how I live my life, connecting deeply with people, all people, from people that I engage in having a coffee or serving the coffee, through people that I deliver my job, through my coaches, to mentees, to people I work with, my family. Connection. Growth, it's personal, and growth of others. As I grow myself, I support others to grow. Everything I learn, I share. I want to share. I know there is somebody that probably needs to hear. That's why I want to create the podcast as well. I know deep
Exactly.
inside there is somebody there that just needs to hear a story that will make them feel that they can as well, and they will make a change in their lives. I've received feedback on that, and I truly believe that it's possible. And love, because I believe if you don't have love, it's as a guide. I cannot work without it. Now I give love to myself. I need the love of others. I give love to my work, to the things I do, to the cooking, everything. And I just use that as a way of sharing, a way of living.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that energy. I can see the life in you. Your eyes are shining. You are purposeful and you are living a happy life. So, final question will be your legacy. How do you want to be remembered in this world?
I believe in creating the podcast, it's reaching out to people, to more people that I cannot otherwise, I guess. So my legacy is to supporting as many people. And I don't know why always comes women in my mind, but I have no preference. I really want to help any people. I have friends that I help, male friends or any orientation really. But I believe I have a bigger mission here to help more people to see how they are, their whole selves, the potential that they have inside, and what they can do with that. And not allow, because that's what has happened to me. And I learned that it's not worth it to hear for what others says about yourself. Develop yourself to become who you want to become and achieve what you want to achieve. In some stories, I'm sure people will relate and will be able to make their own choices that serves them. And I can also guide to coach mentoring and things like that. But the podcast, the idea is really to reach out a bigger number of people, a broader audience, and contribute as much as possible. I just want to give, to contribute with the world and the people that need.
Excellent. It's a fascinating story. I learn you better now, and I feel there's a reason why we both volunteered in our charity work and we both love Anne. We are very similar kind of human beings. We want to help people, we want to contribute, we want to share. And I remember in the previous podcast I did myself, the solo one, I said, oh, if my word, one word can give people some sunshine in their life or see them through the difficulties, see the light is there, I'll be very happy. So it's really so echoing in my own feeling. I found that the people who wants to share, and I'm sure you will have excellent podcast. Any questions
Yeah.
so far regarding podcast setting up?
Two things. First, I would love you to come to my podcast. So here is an invite for you to bring then you'll be able to give your own, contributions of how you've been developing your Insights Out podcast, but for me to get to know more about why you did that. But let's start, if you don't mind, telling me a little bit of how you reached to the podcast and how long you've been doing it now.
This is a very interesting story why I do podcast. I only did it for 3 months. I started in December. But well long ago, I want to do something on internet because with internet, everything is possible. So I love this education equality idea. In 2016, when I decided came to Australia to do a PhD from China, Shanghai, the business has been transformed by online app, by the internet, the e-commerce. At that time, I was thinking, I want to look for a solution. I feel it's fascinating, but I don't know how I can integrate my business into that because we are traditional education, face-to-face teaching. So online teaching, okay, it's a solution, but not very exciting. That's why I had that idea. I felt if there is the internet, we can reach everybody. So there is equality can be created. The people cannot to access good education because they are poor, they cannot afford, or they cannot go to another country. So I want to do something with my own voice. I learned and I did financial planning, wealth management for the past 20 years in education. I can see so many people just need to know basics. Then they can do well without knowing complex stuff. And there's so many scams and a lot of people fall into it. So that's why I think, okay, I want to do that. But I tried YouTube. I have to do video. And I feel like video, sometimes we were attracted by people's face. Where are they coming from? Or are they good looking? It dilutes the message. Therefore, I think I'm looking for some solution that people can hear me. And then secondly, I love storytelling. I realize when I teach, students really attracted by my stories, just like you shared. I love to use the real life stories to show people it's possible. Don't say no before you even understand it. So that's coming to the podcast in the past 2, 3 years. I start to listen to podcasts and I found I learned a lot from podcasts. So one of the podcasts I always use, which actually inspired me of my podcast name, Insights Art, is The Way Art is In. It's a podcast hosted by Plum Village by the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. He's my spiritual mentor. Once they said, oh, you're Buddhist. How can you guys make a podcast? They're saying that we know how to help people. We have the recipe. We want more people to benefit from us. And for the first time, I realized I could also help people. I have something to share, either business successful story or my failures. I have a lot of failure stories. Mainly, I have my finance, wealth management, because I think empty pocket cannot stand tall, right?
Yeah.
If you do not have a secure financial life, all the things are hard to achieve. You want that security. You want that comfortableness make you and support you to drive yourself for your dreams. So I think I could share on that part as well. But I don't really have, like you, very clear idea of what you want to do empower people. I just want to share my thinking because I'm keep growing, I'm keep thinking. So I want to share my thoughts and discuss with people, and people can help me, feedback to me so I can grow. Meanwhile, if I have so many friends, I feel their stories are inspiring. I learned a bit, so I want to share out. Maybe someone there, as you said, need to hear that. But the most important, the number third reason, is commercial reason. I believe that this is a knowledge content economy. You have to be a creator in order to create wealth. I also feel wealth creation is the great power we can upgrade us, and then we can contribute to society better. I read a book in this holiday time before Christmas. It's the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. He was quite successful. He's a very poor Indian guy. And then he made himself rich by investment. He said one thing in the digital time, you don't need to compete with others. You just do yourself and then productize yourself. If you don't know how to do coding, good, write a book. If you don't know how to write, good, you can talk. Podcast. What is wealth? Wealth is when you are sleeping, something is making money for you. So I want to create that wealth. I want to be the content creator. I don't want to be a consumer in this digital age, wiping the screen. It drained me out. I don't like that. I have been reducing all my social media usage only directly if it's benefit what I'm doing now. I cut off all the screen time, which I also trying to show example to my kids. Because if I ask them, don't play the games,
Yeah.
don't do this, do that, don't do TikTok. No, I said, I'm going to use TikTok. I'm going to swipe the screen, but I have a purpose. I want to be a content creator and use that content to create wealth. So from the salary person to become a scalable income creator. That's the number three reason I did this podcast, because I want to do something that for me, it's like playing. I can talk, I can teach, I can stand in the classroom, talk 3 hours without a stop. That's my expertise. Everybody has to find their expertise and then scale it up and make money for you. And
That's
I want to do that purely because I have the expertise to talk and I have some things thinking in my mind. And I also realize for me as a messy thinker, I think a lot of things every day. A lot of say, oh, you don't have podcast topic. You have to at least have 20 to start with. I realize every day I have so many ideas. Then I would just write down the topics one by one, and I would just easily pick one and talk. And this is the final thing I learned by doing podcast. Because did you realize when we talk about something, you kind of know, you don't really know in deep. That's why when I start to do podcasts, if I want to see something, I go to research
yeah.
and I make sure myself learn better. I know better. And as a teacher, I always told my students, if you can teach a person, you learn the best because that really needs a lot of deep understanding and application. So that's why I want to use this podcast as a platform to scale up my expertise, to create wealth by creating useful content to help people and help myself to learn.
Do you have a financial, like a commercial model to sell on your podcast?
So for podcast, I'm not commercialize it yet because I feel from my marketing background, I still couldn't focus on one thing. That's why I said you prepared really well because you know what you're going to do. You want to empower people. I still don't quite get out from my podcast what I'm trying to focus on because you have to be very good at one area to benefit people. But mine is too many things. So I'm trying and I want to do diversify because it's me. It's so many things in my mind. I will let it go for 1 year. I give myself 1 year time to explore. As I already changed my life, I'm not goal setting anymore. I totally agree with you. I upgrade my operating system. Currently, it's my system right now. I'll just need to keep operating on this direction, which I feel is on the right track. And I will see how it leads me to, because wealth is something society pay you for you can do the best, well, benefit others, but others cannot do. So that's what I deeply believe.
One question I have for you in terms of podcasts, because I've been watching one in leadership called No Bullshit Leadership, which is just him talking about his CEO experience. Do you believe, Jen, that to contribute, to keep learning and things like that, you need always to interview someone, or you can talk like this man is doing about your experience and how you see things from your eyes, and let the audience interact with you outside, not having a person interviewing? Do you think this model of being on your own just talking works, or do you think the best model would be always interview someone?
Personally, I believe there's no best model out there. Which model suits you? For me, I like to do both because sometimes it's my own thinking, my own reflection. I think it's useful. I want to speak it out. You see, when you speak it out, you actually clear your mind. I also interview people because sometimes I hear people's story. I saw my friend's experience. I'm inspired, or I find it's very interesting. Just pure curious, different life. Like a friend married a diplomat. She's
Mhm.
changing country every 3 years. I said, everybody envy you, but she complained to me every day. So I find it's very interesting. Some different life, just have no idea. I just move on based on my interest because at the end, I think this podcast is for me. I want to create memories. I would want to talk with my mom in this June. I want to ask all those deep questions because my father passed away without us knowing anything. It's unexpected. Now I look back, I feel I hardly know my father, who he is as a man, as a person. I only know him as a father. So I want not to lose this opportunity to talk to my mom. That's why I create this platform for myself. Anybody want to talk? I will talk. It's just me.
I truly believe that we all connect into a certain vibration, people around us that comes in different ways because of this alignment that we are. I tried many times to write a book. I parked. I interviewed my family, and my family is from my mom's side on their leadership journey. They weren't educated to a point, but they are such beautiful examples, stories of leadership in the family that I wanted to capture strong women. Yes, like you, I want as well. A podcast is one way of, maybe because writing a book took a bit longer than I expected. It is a way of giving to the universe my contribution. That legacy is part of it,
Mm,
sharing and hoping that with that somebody will listen and will see the value. But yes, there are lots of different avenues that we can monetize. And for sure, for me, that's super important because I do want to have a financial independence so that it can enable me to give more, to contribute more, and to have those experiences, not just by myself, but with my family. For me now, it's just having those experiences that they will cherish for life, especially my kids. But what I want to mention is when you say you have lots of thinking, and that Maslow pyramid of
yes.
needs, everything you tell me, I see that foundation also because I work with housing, and I saw that The base for us is that financial independence. The base for us is to feel safe, yeah, to have that psychological safety, to feel that we can. And you're working on the foundation. Yeah, it doesn't matter exactly how you name it, but that's the foundational piece that will allow, enable, and empower people to become more.
Yeah, I think we are truly connected. Maslow, what you described, is the first class I teach my students in financial
Ah,
planning. Yes,
yeah,
you want a safety. That's the first safety net you want to build for yourself.
that.
And that's important. We don't deny. But for wealth and money, I always share that with my family, with my kids, with my students, with my friends. Money itself is nothing. You don't chase money. Money is a derivative of something. Therefore, you choose that something that you want to do, which can bring you wealth. That's why I said wealth creator is about to create something, the content or the job or the project. You have to think about that underlying things instead of money. So money is never being a goal, should never be a goal.
I was just yesterday doing a course online on how to turn sales into service. And it was very interesting because I really feel sometimes that I shouldn't, what I want is to share the good, the love, etc., and not, charge and be just. But for sure, we all need to survive and pay the mortgage and all those things here in Australia. It's huge. So I love that idea that I got yesterday, that what I'm selling is service. It is turning sales into service in the heart. So I feel more connected to that, so I can, deliver on that level, not just charge.
Yeah, I think definitely you look at the money as people pay for the things they need, but they couldn't supply to themselves. Then you have to provide that service or the book or the motivation, the thing they need,
Mm-hmm.
and you help them. We all pay things we need and we are happily paying. So our job is to create things that people really need but
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't provide themselves. In a way, we help solve a problem. We help to make life better. But
For sure.
payment is just a way people to show appreciation. That's what I see this.
Absolutely. So, platforms wise, are you happy with this platform for your podcast?
It's not that simple.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a workflow. So I'll go through with you the workflow so you know what is involved. It
Okay.
took me 3 months to realize.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Yeah. You did the first part. You get your logos and you get your 10 podcast. You get your key ideas
Yeah.
and what you can offer. That's excellent. Okay.
Mhm.
Excellent. I even didn't do that. So I just jump to recorded my first episode.
Yeah.
But second, you need to start to record in the podcast.
Yeah.
So this website, Riverside, and there's another one called the Descript.
Spotify? Spotify, no?
No, no, not yet there. Flow.
Okay.
You need to record your podcast. And after recording, you need to editing to the final version that
Mm.
you want to put. Then you need a hosting platform. Hosting platform is Spotify
Yeah.
or Apple Podcasts or a third party host like what I use, Podbean. But Spotify is free. I currently pay Podbean for my hosting of the podcast because I want my podcast to be available in China as well.
I see.
Once you host, they will give you a RSS feed code. You can put this code to all the global podcast platform. They can automatically update your podcast in their platform.
I see.
Spotify was hard for Chinese website to read or to get information. So that's why I choose to pay so I can have Chinese podcast platform up and running without me looking after or re-upload every episode.
Right.
That's the only reason I paid.
What do you use to editing? Is it still Riverside?
You can use Riverside Editing, which is a very good tool. I would recommend because now AI, we can use text editing. You don't need to listen and cut. You look at the script, they write it for you. You just edit the script, which is way easier. However, when I do my solo podcast, I do not use Riverside. I use Audacity. You can download, it's free. And I love that Audacity because it gave me the power to edit the audio form more professionally. If it's interview, I use Riverside because I tried with my boss. He was in UK, in London.
Yeah.
We did the podcast and Riverside really did so well. We were cut actually during the connection, but Riverside made it so smooth that when I editing, I didn't even realize there is a cutting. And Riverside give you 2 hours recording for free every month. Currently, it can cover my need, so I don't need to pay.
Do you do a month?
I do 2 episodes per month, so bi-weekly. It's if interview, it's never go over 2 hours. And if it's solo, as I said, I use Audacity so that I save Riverside free 2 hours solely for my interview.
Perfect. Thank you.
Final tips is if you upload to Spotify, you should be able to get RSS feed. Then you can running up your YouTube channel as well. Because I realize that not many people like to go to podcast channel. So if you give them a link, they do not have Apple Podcast or Spotify, they could not follow you or they could not access. So I create the YouTube podcast. It's much easier for any audience to access your podcast.
Perfect.
So that's what I use these three major platforms to distribute my podcast.
Amazing.
If you get any tips, share with me.
I will for sure share what I learn. That's what I love most. That's how we keep growing together. That's exactly how unstoppable growth happens, right? Thank you so much bringing me in your podcast and all the chat that we had today. Appreciate all your deep questions, made me reflect a lot and a lot of insights already from inside out in all different ways. So really appreciate.
What amazing discussion. I hope Patricia's journey inspires you to reflect on your own path and take bold steps toward growth. Look at me. I started 3 months ago and now I can really enjoy the stories and inspirations from all over the world. People gave me comments, advice, and I learn, I grow as well. Now, if you have ever thought about launching a podcast for yourself, start today. Write down your why, your core message, and the value you want to bring to listeners. Prepare at least 10 topics you can talk for the first year, then you can continue. If Patricia's story resonated with you, be sure to follow her on LinkedIn and stay tuned for Unstoppable Growth podcast with Patricia. To close today's episode, I would love to share a song inspired by Patricia's journey, Unstoppable Patricia. Till next time, keep breaking barriers and turning our insights into your action.
Lights on, mic check, here we go. Stepping up, got a story to show. Ain't holding back, yeah, she's all in. Heart wide open, let the words begin. She got a fire, yeah, you feel that spark. Speaking truth, making light in the dark. Love, connection, and a dream so bold. Giving power to the stories untold. She's unstoppable, can you feel that spark? Speaking truth, making light in the dark. Love, connection, and a dream so bold. Giving power to the stories untold. She's unstoppable, yeah, she's taking flight. One voice, one dream, gonna shine so bright. No fear, no doubt, she's got what it takes. Turn her passion in a way she makes. lesson she learned, now she's giving back. Watch the tables turn. Growth and love, yeah, she walks that line, helping you and me rise and shine. She got a fire, yeah, you feel that spark. Speaking truth, making light in the dark. Love, connection, and a dream so bold, giving power to the stories untold. She's unstoppable, can you feel that spark? Speaking truth, making light in the dark. Love, connection, and a dream so bold, giving power to the stories untold. She's unstoppable, yeah, she's taking flight. One voice, one dream, gonna shine so bright. No fear, no doubt, she's got what it takes, turning passion in a way she makes. So here's to the start, here's to the fight. Patricia, you're taking the world tonight. No limits now, just the sky above. Keep on growing, keep on showing that love. She's got a thought before, yeah, she's taking flight. One voice, one dream, gonna shine so bright. No fear, no doubt, she's got what it takes, turning passion in a way she makes. She's unstoppable, yeah, you feel that spark. Speaking truth, making light in the dark. Love, connection, and a dream so bold, giving power to the stories untold. Turning passion in a way she makes. So here's to the start, here's to the fight. Patricia, you're taking the world tonight. Bonus now, just the sky above. Keep on growing, keep on showing that love.